A wealthy woman mocks a poor child's worn-out shoes, believing her status and privilege make her superior. But her world is turned upside down when the child responds with an unexpected strength and grace that leaves everyone speechless. As the woman's life begins to unravel, she discovers a shocking truth about the child's past that forces her to confront her own insecurities. What follows is an emotional journey of reckoning and redemption that will challenge everything she thought she knew about wealth and worth. The twist at the end will leave you stunned as the woman learns the true meaning of resilience and compassion. But before we dive in, leave a comment and let us know where you are watching from today. And if this story speaks to you, hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories. In the glistening world of high fashion, Clara Kingston was at the peak of her power. A wealthy woman in her early 40s, she had everything: status, money, and the finest things life could offer. On this particular day, she strutted through the doors of an exclusive boutique, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floor. The store attendants immediately rushed to attend to her, well aware of her reputation as a woman who spared no expense. As Clara surveyed the rows of glittering designer shoes, her attention was abruptly pulled towards an unexpected sight: a little girl, standing near the entrance with her mother. The girl's clothes were simple, plain, and unremarkable, but what caught Clara's eye most were her shoes. They were old, tattered, and scuffed beyond repair. The soles were worn thin, and the laces frayed. It was almost comical to Clara, seeing someone so out of place in such a luxurious setting. Unable to resist, Clara strode over, her designer purse swinging by her side. She eyed the little girl with disdain, her lips curling into a smirk. "Those shoes," Clara began, her voice loud enough for others to hear, "are those from the Stone Age? Or did you find them in the trash?" The girl, who couldn't have been more than 10 years old, looked up at Clara. Her bright eyes, full of innocence, scanned the woman before her. Her mother gave a nervous glance, tightening her grip on her daughter's hand, but the girl didn't back down. Instead, she stood still, her worn shoes firmly planted on the ground. For a moment, silence enveloped the room, and then the little girl spoke. Her voice was soft, yet steady, carrying a strength Clara didn't expect. "My shoes," the girl said, her eyes locking with Clara's, "are old because I've walked a long way in them. They took me to the hospital when my brother was sick. They've helped me carry food back home when we had nothing to eat. They may not be pretty, but they've helped me do things that matter." Clara's smirk faltered. For the first time in years, she found herself at a loss for words. The child's response was unexpected, cutting through her air of superiority like a knife through silk. But Clara, unwilling to show weakness, quickly recovered, brushing off the girl's words with a sarcastic laugh. "That's sweet," Clara said, her voice dripping with condescension, "but hard work doesn't buy you good taste, darling. Especially not here." Without waiting for a response, Clara turned her back to the girl and resumed browsing through the rows of shoes. But something gnawed at her, a strange discomfort she wasn't used to feeling. She glanced over her shoulder, expecting to see the girl and her mother slink away in embarrassment. Instead, they remained where they were, the little girl standing tall, unshaken. Just as Clara was about to leave the store, an older man entered. His presence was commanding, though his attire was simple. The store manager, who had been helping Clara moments before, rushed over to greet the man with deference. "Mr. Graham, it's an honor to have you here," the manager said, clearly flustered. Clara recognized the name. Thomas Graham was a billionaire philanthropist, known not only for his wealth but for his immense contributions to children's charities and education initiatives. His face was familiar from countless charity galas and high society events, though Clara had never spoken to him personally. To Clara's surprise, Thomas didn't acknowledge her. Instead, his attention was entirely focused on the little girl with the tattered shoes. "Hello, Lily," Thomas said warmly, kneeling down to the girl's height. "It's so good to see you again." Clara's brow furrowed. Why was a man like Thomas Graham speaking to a child like her? "You know her?" Clara asked, her curiosity piqued despite herself. Thomas stood and turned to face Clara, his expression kind but serious. "Lily and her family have been through a lot," he said. "Her father passed away not long ago, and her mother's been working hard to support her children. Lily has been helping her mother with every step. I've been trying to offer my support where I can." Clara blinked, stunned. The girl with the worn-out shoes wasn't just a random child off the street. She was someone with a story, one that Thomas Graham, a man Clara deeply respected, seemed to care about. "You see, Miss Kingston," Thomas continued, now addressing Clara directly, "Lily's father was one of my closest friends. He was a man of great integrity, who always believed in giving back to the community. When he passed, Lily's mother was left to raise their children alone. I've watched Lily grow up, and despite everything she's been through, she's one of the strongest, most resilient people I know." Clara's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. The words she had thrown at the little girl now echoed in her mind, each one feeling heavier than the last. She had mocked this child, not knowing the struggles she had faced. And now, here she was, standing in front of one of the wealthiest and most respected men in the city, who clearly admired the girl for qualities far beyond anything money could buy. Thomas smiled down at Lily and then glanced at the store manager. "I think Lily deserves a new pair of shoes, don't you?" he said. The manager, eager to please, quickly fetched a pair of sturdy, beautiful shoes, perfect for a child who had been through so much. He handed them to Thomas, who knelt down and offered them to Lily. "These are for you," he said softly. "Consider them a gift for everything you've done for your family." Lily's eyes lit up with joy, and her mother's eyes brimmed with tears. "Thank you, Mr. Graham," her mother whispered. As Clara watched the scene unfold, something inside her shifted. For so long, she had measured people by their wealth, their clothes, their outward appearance. But here, standing before her, was a child who had faced more hardship in her short life than Clara had ever known. And yet, this child radiated a strength and dignity that Clara couldn't ignore. For the first time, Clara felt small in the presence of someone she had deemed beneath her. Her own words, once sharp and biting, now seemed hollow and cruel. When Thomas and Lily left the store, Clara remained frozen in place, replaying the moment in her mind. She had always believed that wealth was the ultimate power, but now, for the first time, she realized that true strength came from something far deeper. Days later, Clara found herself sitting in her luxurious home, staring at her reflection in a large mirror. Her designer clothes, expensive jewelry, and lavish lifestyle suddenly felt meaningless. The image she had built of herself as a powerful, untouchable woman now seemed empty. She thought of Lily, the little girl with the tattered shoes, and how her words had revealed a life of hardship, love, and perseverance. Clara had never faced such challenges, yet Lily had remained unbroken by them. In that moment, Clara made a decision. She would no longer measure her worth, or the worth of others, by material possessions. She would start giving back, using her wealth to help those who needed it most. And perhaps one day, she could be as strong as the little girl who had opened her eyes. This story serves as a powerful reminder that true strength and resilience come not from wealth or status, but from the challenges we overcome and the kindness we show to others. Clara's journey from arrogance to humility is a lesson in empathy, proving that sometimes the most unexpected encounters can lead to life-changing transformations.